HooHooHooRobin.
You're listening to Opie and Anthony. On the virus. Sirius XM.
We return to the Opie and Anthony show without Opie or Anthony. Both
Where
arrested.
are they? Are they on vacation?
No, arrested in separate homosexual incidents in men's rooms and parks. It was really weird. Opie arrested in one in Long Island, and Anthony on one here in Manhattan, which there's not many restrooms in Manhattan that have glory holes, but Anthony Cumia found one. Both arrested. And David Lee Roth is here with us, of course, all day, and Jim Florentine, my oldest comedy friend, and Sam Roberts. And before Anderson Silva comes in, he's not here yet, there's a bit of controversy brewing, because we had a hotline ringing before.
Yes.
And I don't know if it was Chris Jericho, if it was Jay Moore or Colin Quinn or any of these other people. I was trying to get Mike Tyson to come in today because I figured what a surprise for Anderson Silva if Mike walked in, although they like each other.
You're fucking awesome.
It would be great. It'd be amazing, but Mike is in Pennsylvania. I think he's got to fight his fighters fighting.
Mike is livelier than ever.
He's the best.
I saw him doing the promotion like I started to say earlier, and he had two kind of young fighters, and he's pushing them. He's going, come on, I wanted you to say you're going to kick the motherfucker's ass, and you should be angry like you're going to kill the motherfucker. He's like coaching them into, guys, you got to get this colorful. You got to pump up the volume of it. He was the most lively and dynamic character on the screen right then. Huh?
So I figured if he came in to surprise Anderson, it would be nice, but you never know. I don't think that was him calling in, but you just don't know. So we had no hotline, and Eric is saying that fucking Sal refused to do it. So I told Sal outside, I'm like, that's unacceptable. This is a fucking not a hobby.
Sal refused to do what?
Screen
the calls.
But Sal is angrily denying that and saying that's bullshit.
That's not bullshit, because I missed the hotline call, yes. But when I called him, I said, I need you in here to do phones. I'm busy, and he's yelling whatever. And I said,
I'm doing the hotline?
Here's what when I went in there and told Eric about the hotline, he had already said, Sal said that he wouldn't come in. Before this hotline even rang, he said that Sal had already said, I'm not going back there.
This is starting to sound a little bit like Celebrity Rehab.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're building up a big wrestling match right here.
So, Sal, what's the truth?
So this.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Go ahead.
So this is what happened. E-Rock calls me. He says, "Hey, come do the phones." I said, "I'm in the middle of something." He said, "Okay." He said, "Come do them right now. The show's more important." I said, "Okay."
I'm sorry. Are you Anderson?
No. This is Sal.
I have my glasses on. I
said, "Okay." Hang up the phone. I start walking back, and intern Tyler is walking back towards the producer studio as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking back with breakfast, and I said, "Why do you have breakfast?" He said, "Oh, this is E-Rock's breakfast." So, which means that there was an interval of time where there was no one at the phone.
Were his arms tired?
I don't know.
Okay.
Which means that E-Rock didn't call me and say, "Hey, I sent intern Tyler out for my own personal run, my breakfast." There was, when Eric never said that. So Eric sent him out with nobody on the phones.
I have to fucking explain that to you. I said, come do the phones, and you scream, I'm busy doing something.
We established that already.
We're doing the live show, and you hung up.
This was established. You didn't call me when you sent him off of the phones to say, hey, come do the phones. You called me when he was returning already.
There hasn't been anybody on the phones all day.
That's bullshit, too. We have been screening those phone calls.
I've been watching them ring. I'm in here.
In that last segment, they were ringing, yes. But
all day.
Before, we had people on hold.
And called, and there was nobody screening his call.
So Eric failed to inform me, saying, hey, I'm sending someone out, taking them off of that job that's being covered for you. He never said, hey, come back here and do it. So that's when whoever was on the hotline called. And Eric, don't try to throw me under the bus and say that.
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus for the fucking hotline. I'm throwing you under the bus because when I said, I need you to come do the phone.
I came back, I hung up, and then I came back
here, dude. You screamed, I'm busy, and then I said, we're doing the live show, and you hung up
the phone, and then I came back here, dude.
Lower your voice, or I'm going to suplex you.
You said, Eric,
I love a good yelling match.
Dave, does this sound like a Van Halen meeting?
Not even close.
That's a good show, by the way.
It sounds like a meeting with management.
So I said, okay, I said what I said, but I hung up the phone, and I started walking back here, and then I saw Tyler walking here. So you failed to inform anyone here, that you took someone off of that position and sent them on a personal run. It's your own fault.
Guys,
don't try to throw me under the bus, Eric.
Getting thrown under the bus is colorful.
And Eric, you said that you had already asked him to come back, and he had said no.
I hadn't been on the phone at all today.
Before the hotline
I had
rang.
called him. I had called him
When?
for the phones
When?
before Sam
You
came and
called me.
talked
I
to
never got a single call. I have
Guys,
zero texts or
who gives
calls
a
from
flat
you.
fuck?
Exactly. Thank you, Dave. Good point.
Nobody gives a flat
no
fuck.
one cares.
We like to know how, when the machine breaks down what happens, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and we might have missed a good call for you.
But you don't need to discuss the ingredients in front of the clientele.
I'll tell you
here,
one thing:
know.
the audience has had enough cake; they want to know how it's fucking made, and the audience has had enough shitty cake, and they want to know why the cake is terrible. So we're trying to tell them why
I
the
thought
cake
this
is
icing
terrible.
was supposed to be sweet.
Exactly. This icing tastes like shit. What happened?
Yeah,
Well,
who put the
Sal
salt?
was supposed to get the sweetener, and fucking E-Rock sent somebody out to get something, so there's no sweetener. Whose fault is this, Sam, to wrap this up?
I believe I gotta side with Sal on this one. It doesn't sound like Sal got the call until after the hotline, which means E-Rock
Right.
was looking at an empty chair and not doing anything.
And said someone else-
I said that I
let's
missed the
lunge
hotline.
ahead. Let's cut to the crash. Who do we think was on the phone? Who might that have been?
I
Jericho?
believe it was Jericho.
Okay, so let's put words in his mouth. And what would he have said had he had gotten through on the phone?
This is a great interview. I really do. I enjoyed Van Halen a lot of times. You know, our band, we've been doing great, but you guys were a big influence on us. And Jimmy, great job. Even better than with Opie and Anthony. Those guys are giant albatrosses around your neck, and you should be making all the money. And I'm really enjoying the show today.
Any price at all, you name it, kid. You name your price.
It does sound like Jericho.
That sounds a lot like Jericho.
Yeah, and he's like, and by the way, I have my show on 6 cents every whatever it is, because he has a radio show on
That
XM.
certainly does. He's a big metal guy, and
Yeah.
he probably would have said, I'm looking forward to
Okay.
American Degenerate tonight, and then I'm going to go
Ask
check
you
out
anything on Reddit.
I'm going to ask you something on Reddit. I'm going to go to davidleeroth.com, and I'm going to see Jim Florentine and my cousin at Uncle Vinny's.
And then we would have given him a pitch for his record. What's the name of his record?
It's not. It's coming out in a few weeks, and he's
That's
touring
not
with.
the title. What is the title?
I'm not sure what the title is, and he's touring with Saxon.
Okay, but it's a for real record. It's a for
Yeah,
real.
it's a real
deal.
record.
What
It's
is-
like-
what is the name of the band?
It's Fozzy, and it's about the fifth record's coming out.
Why is it called Fozzy?
That was, I think, a play on Ozzy or something else. And he's been doing it for many, many years, since I first started coming on Opie and Anthony, like 2000. And he had a character name, I think it was Moongoose McQuaid, was like a funny character he was doing, and he wouldn't break character.
That is a good name.
But then it became this thing where the band was good, and people liked them, and yeah. They don't, you know what I mean? It's almost like
It's like the movie The Producers. We got to create a flop,
There you go.
and then we will make $1 million in the overages of the taxes that they'll get paid. Oh no, it's a success!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do Springtime for Hitler, and lo and behold, it's a smash hit, and it's that's a catastrophe.
That's
right?
yeah, exactly. So, but now for Chris, it's good though, because he probably doesn't want to wrestle as much as he used to. I mean, you know,
No, he's
How
gotta
long
love
is
it.
Chris? He's been wrestling for a while.
Long time.
Right?
Yeah.
He looks way younger than the kinds of distance that wrestling puts on you. You know, that's high impact. And but he's been doing it since the 80s as well, yeah?
Yeah,
has he
early
been-
90s.
Early
maybe?
90s, yeah.
But he's been smart enough, like, as he got later in his career, once he established himself, to take time off. So he'd go away for a year or two. He'd tour with the band for a while, and that's what he's doing now. He'll wrestle for like 6 months, and then he'll go tour with the band for 6 months. Then he'll come back to wrestling for 6 months.
That happens with rock bands all the time. You get guys who are constantly around. After a while, they can't sell tickets, and it's completely overly familiar, whatever. We in Van Halen, we're on the James Bond schedule, I call it. Every 3.5 years, the new James Bond movie comes out. Any sooner, and the first thing you hear is, weren't you guys just here?
Right.
That's the worst. You never want to show up at a party in the apartment and have somebody go, weren't you just here?
Yeah.
Ow.
You want that little bit. As my grandmother said when my first girlfriend moved away, distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
She did say that to me.
And the relationship lasted 6 times as long because you were never at home? That's a
No,
success?
I have not seen the girl since, and that was 5th grade.
If I keep going back to the same porno, is that a relationship?
Technically, yeah, but it's not just with the women. It's with the guys in it, too. You're involved with all of them if you keep going back to the same one.
No, but do you rewind it to the beginning, or you keep it right at that spot
Well,
and pick it up from there?
I ran into a serious issue with that, with conditioning. I'm a very eminently conditionable guy, and in the late 80s, I ran into a problem to where I was rewinding, and pretty soon I couldn't get off unless I was with 2 chicks who pretended like they were moving really fast backwards. Which is, I'm not kidding.
I know you're not. Believe me, we know you're not. That's the beauty of it. No one thinks you're kidding.
Dave,
No, you can't rewind porno. It's never as good.
Dave, in a threesome though, there's a lot of you got to give attention to everybody because someone doesn't want to feel left out, one of the girls,
which is inevitable.
So how do you work that? How do you placate them where they can both have a good time and not worry that you're spending too much time with one and all that?
Well, they got to know each other in advance. If you really want to know the truth, the mechanics of this, they got to know each other in advance, and it has to be their idea. Because if you're going to be the mechanic, if you're going to be the master cylinder, and you're going to bolt that shit together, it's usually glued together with Jack Daniels and a lot of bullshit promises that you can't keep because it's 4 a.m. But it's got to be their idea.
So it was better, like after a show, you wouldn't just pick two random ones, two girls who were hanging out backstage that didn't know each other. That usually ended in a disaster.
Yeah.
Two friends worked way better.
Oh, absolutely.
And do you have to witch doctor it into their head? So, like, it's your idea, but they think it's their idea.
No. They'll know in advance. They've already figured it out. They got the logistics, and that is a standard, okay? If you think you're going to put it together, okay, you talk about mechanicking it, like, okay, what's one of the tricks? Oh, I know. You leave some of the Penthouse magazines laying around. And
I did that one.
And guys, all of us think we invented that shit. And she picks it up and goes, oh, do you like this stuff? And you act surprised and go, why? Do you? Like you're the first one to invent that nonsense.
Did it work for you?
We used to leave the Playboy channel on and hide the remote and take the knob off the TV before we went to the club. So we got girls back that was on the TV, and we're like, I don't know where the remote is. Do you know? I don't know. And then you don't even have the pliers to turn the channel. Oh, I guess we got to watch this.
Exactly.
You take the knobs off the TV.
We took the knob off so they couldn't even just do it manually. We're like, I don't even know where the knob went.
That's so funny. No, it's got to be their idea because you're going to be fascinated with one gal more than the other. You have a choice of whatever, so you're always going to favor one. I do remember once. These two gals approached me in Vancouver. I guess after a certain point of time, all is forgiven, right?
Right.
I can get away with pretty much, whatever. Yeah. And these two gals approached me, dancers, Italian girls. Those weren't Italian dances, but I'm sure those dances would be popular if they did them in Italy. And it was at a strip club called the Cecil Hotel in Vancouver. And they approached me at about 2 a.m. and said, hey, we're upstairs in a room upstairs. And they both had huge wads of dollar bills, like, 6 inches stacks of it. Great looking gals, and it was stuffed in their G-strings. I'm going to cut to the crash because I'm not sure who's really listening to this show at this point in time. But when I woke up, the G-strings had burst and there were dollar bills everywhere. And it was like somebody had tarred and papered us because it was in the middle of the summer, like July or August, really hot and sweaty. And the dollar bills were like glued all over us. And I remember thinking to myself, I am made of money. If but for a moment.
Do you ever
like your comedy? There's no punchline to this.
No. I didn't know if there was more. But now, when you have two and the two girls leave, do you ask for both numbers? How do you do that? Just out of courtesy, even though you're not going to call them?
Oh, I can make taxi fare in 17 languages. Are you kidding? like Uncle Manny said, hey, kid, the secret to show business is sincerity. When you can fake that, you're in.
Yeah.
Golly, look at the time. No, I'm hesitant to even say the word groupies because I always got along great with the gals that I was chasing out on the road. And the girls that we were chasing in a groupie frame of mind did not look anything like groupies that you're thinking of. Usually when you say groupies, you're thinking of a variation of Motley Crue meets CeCe DeVille from Poison times teased hair with vampire goth makeup, and there is a place for that kind of a girl.
Right.
But Wednesdays.
Not weekends.
Not weekends. No. And we were chasing the prom queen. We were chasing the homecoming girl. We were chasing the gymnastic.
The wholesome.
Oh yeah, we would go checking out the line. I would take my bicycle, not motorbike, but bicycle out of the back of the tour bus, and you go cruise the lines of everybody who was waiting to get into animal seating shows when there were no chairs. So there'd be huge long lines, 6 blocks long. And we would just cruise up and down there. And I still keep up with a number of those gals too.
Now, would
Some
they
of
be
them are on their
crazy though,
second
seeing you?
husband.
Would the whole fucking line be going crazy seeing you ride the bike?
No, true revolutionary moves, invisible and invulnerable amongst the people. As you can see, I can either dress up, you follow, and attract the attention, or you dress the same color as the buildings. You just kind of fit right in with the surroundings and whatnot. And you get the best of both worlds. That way you go around completely unnoticed until it's time to get a decent table at the restaurant.
So basically, you did a dry run.
Oh, yeah. And you would, Jesus, what else did we do? This was when video was you took 4 guys just to carry the equipment. And today you need just a cell phone or whatever. We used to have to lug that fucking camera with all the cords. There was a special box for the cords and then the recording unit, you follow. And then we had a trunk full of costumes, like a wedding dress. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, of course. So you would dress them up? You had costumes for them?
Sure, a state trooper outfit. Yeah, we were full production. It's Van Halen, man. 6 times the size, 20 times as fast. Some people burn their candle at both ends, and in this band, we took a blowtorch to our candle. 22 times the light and 1/3 the time.
Yeah.
Here's my new Junior Miss Flamethrower. Hey, where's the candle? You're breathing it.
Did you ever like a girl and go like, wow, she's kind of cool, I want to see her, and then you realize that she was banging somebody else in the band too, like right after you? Like in all the years?
It didn't happen in the band, but then I would catch her with the opening act.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, that's what they mean by the circle of life, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was a routine. We would always chase the gals who were, chasing the band that we were opening for. Jesus and Van Halen, we opened for everybody.
Sabbath.
We opened for Sabbath. We opened for Journey. We opened for Boston. We opened
Kiss.
for the Doobie Brothers, for Kiss, Stones, you name it. We opened for everybody. And, it was a wild time, late 70s, early 80s, etc. So that's part of the fun, too. You're going to conquer the world. If you're going to conquer the entire world, well, you start with one girl at a time.
Would you ever meet a girl and you liked her so much you'd keep her on the bus, to the next city?
Oh, certainly. A thing of beauty, not last forever, but at least a 3-day weekend.
Then how do you tell her it's time to go? How do you get rid of her?
Yeah, you met her in Boston and now you guys are in Louisiana. Now how do you tell her, look, you got to go back to Boston?
Oh, well, you use security for that. Again, it was a crazier, wilder time. We would rent extra hotel rooms just for the 4th encore, we would call it. You follow? And just before you go into, for your extra encore in one of the hotel rooms, you tell one of the security guys, give me a call in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, the phone rings, and you act all upset, and you go, no way, shit, I gotta go. And make it down the hallway, probably to another room.
What if you didn't finish in 20 minutes?
Oh, you were finished. That was never an issue. Speed trials were never a big hurdle with this band.
So you'd have another room just to get out of there, like that you can go sleep. Like, would you keep your stuff in the fucking in the dummy room, kind of, or in the other room?
My personal best was I had my room, I had one of the security guys' room, and one of the encore rooms, all going in one night.
And you'd go from one to one to one.
Yes, I was in room 1, then I went to room 2, then I went to room 3, and then back to room 1.
And you know, that's
No
impressive.
drugs. No
yeah, I know,
drugs.
that's what I'm saying. That's impressive. That's pre-Viagra,
No drugs.
Cialis.
No, drug-free.
So he was almost like a baseball player in the 70s. He didn't take the PEDs or the steroids.
No, we didn't have any of that, or I would have.
Wow. Have you taken it since? Cialis or any of that stuff? Viagra, I take it.
Oh, I've tried it, you know.
You like
it? You know, I got it mixed up with my heart meds one point, and I thought, wow, this stuff really is improving my circulation.
Wasn't that how it came to be? It was for
Viagra, yeah. It was supposed to be preventative for heart attacks.
Oh, I'm lucky that we didn't have that stuff. Are you kidding? If we had steroids and, you know, and all the, you know, the stay hard pills, whatever, the Cialises and everything like that, I would have killed myself years and years.
You would have been renting out 6 rooms.
Years and years ago. I would have died. You would have had to have beaten my dick to death with a baseball bat. It would have been so full of calories.
Yeah, it's funny. I take it now, and a lot of times I don't have anything to do. No girl. But I'm just sitting there.
You just take it, what, like the daily medication? Like it's your vitamin?
Let's just say you get your hopes up for no reason. And then you're just jerking off really impressively.
Like a Boy Scout, always be prepared.
Yeah, but there's nothing worse than when you're prepared and no one shows up. And you're like, well, you can't get unprepared once you're prepared. So sometimes I'll just put on my spandex pants alone. And just I've done that. I put on my spandex shorts and take pictures of it in the mirror.
Do you send it to anyone?
Yeah.
You do? Really?
Are you sending dick pics to people?
The question is, when am I not? Yes, always. Always.
Okay. This is more prevalent and way more popular than I ever thought it would be.
A lot of dudes walking around in spandex pants with an erection
by
alone.
myself.
You did your own photo shoot?
Yeah, just with my cell phone.
Tell him, Fred.
The Virus. Sirius XM. This is the Opie and Anthony Show.